and welcome to another edition of What's Happening. I'm Elliot Margolis. I'm here with my co-host Gail Burke, and we have a very special show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the Shriners Hospital in Boston, and I have a special guest, Jeffrey Arnold, who not only is a Shriner, but he's a clown. And he goes to the hospital and he performs for the kids. And that's pretty special in my view. But in any case, thank you to come on the show, Jeff.
Thank you for having me.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about the Shriners, how it started?
Right, back in 1870, there was an actor named William Florence and Dr. Walter Fleming. They were two Masons who wanted to put something together, the party side of being Masons. So they turned around and started an organization called the Ancient Arabic Order, Nobles and Mystic Shrine. Why did they use that name? They had just come back from the Middle East on a tour, and they enjoyed it so much, and the red fez that a Shriner wears, Dr. Fleming has it in his picture, which was Mecca, #1 in New York. And that went on until about 1922, where it was just a party group. And these people decided, Shriners, that they needed something to have a cause. And back then, polio was really bad. And Shreveport seemed to be the largest collection of it. So their first hospital they built in Shreveport, Louisiana. Since which time, we now have 22 hospitals. 3 of the hospitals are burned. Boston is one of them. And the work that these doctors and nurses do are just beyond anything you can ever imagine. As I was saying, in Boston, we have 22 beds, acute, surgical, and reconstructive. We are affiliated with Mass General Hospital, Harvard Medical School. We are the only verified pediatric burn center in New England.
Your location is perfect, isn't it, Jeff?
Right next door to Mass General. When a med flight or an ambulance comes in with the child who was burnt, they bring them right to Mass General. They're cleared medically, and then they come right along into the Shriners Hospital.
So
And,
how did you get involved with the Shriners?
well, first I became a Mason. For many years, you can be a Mason at 21. Now you can be at 18. My dad used to go to all these meetings and have different colored aprons. And when I was in my 30s, I said, Dad, what's this all about? I've been waiting for you to ask this. Because back then, you had to ask. And I joined. I became very active in my local lodges. And I was always impressed with the clowns and the shrine. And so about 15 years after I was a Mason, I turned around and I asked to be a Shriner. And when I get in, I was in charge of the medical corps. I'm a retired paramedic and EMT. And somebody asked me to get in line to be an officer to be eventually potentate of the local shrine center, which is Aleppo. Again, named from the Middle East country. So while I was in line, I looked at my father, who had been a Mason for 50 years. I said, I'm paying. You're joining the Shriners too. So we went to all these meetings together. We just had a great time together.
Now, all Masons are not Shriners, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. But
To
all
be a
Shriners are Masons.
Correct. To be a Shriner, you have to be a Mason.
Okay. And how did you become a clown?
Very interesting.
When you know him, you know he's a clown.
I'd always been told, I think it's in my yearbook, that I would be a clown. When you're in line to be the potentate, they tell you you've got to be at a certain meeting because we're going to make you an honorary clown. So I showed up for the cookout. they told me to bring 2 sets of clothes. And I got initiated into the clowns. And it was, my kids were there, my wife was there. My wife actually got to throw a pie in my face. My kids, they adored it. And I said, this is for me. So I stayed as an honorary clown because being in the regular clown unit, there's so many hours you have to put in. You have to be at so many parades. So I still do a lot of other things in the shrine. But when I can, I clown. I love doing the circus with the kids.
Now,
That's
this
right.
is all volunteer,
This
right?
is all volunteer. Some of the guys, they do birthday parties. I don't. I have done visiting at Salem Hospital for the elderly. I'd love to get into Shriners more often for clowning. Being on the Board of Governors, it keeps you pretty busy. But it's right here.
Yeah, you can tell that you love it.
What types of services does the Shriners Hospital do for kids?
Okay, in Boston, as I said, we're a burn care. We also do cleft lip and palate. We have a new plastics department where we do plastic reconstructive and laser surgery. For orthopedic, we have a sister hospital in Springfield, and they do the orthopedics over there. They also do cleft lip and palate. But our biggest thing right now is burns. And the toughest thing is bringing a child from where they are to Boston. In the United States, we've done so much education that we still get patients, but far less than what we used to. We bring in a lot of children from other countries. And sometimes to bring a child in is $20,000 to $35,000 for the jet, the staff, and all the transfer.
Now, is it like St. Jude in that the parents don't have to pay? Or do they pay if they
The way we
can't?
do it is we take care of the children regardless of their ability to pay. So if they have insurance, and the insurance says you got a week and they need longer, they're going to get longer. Insurance says no, we're going to treat them.
Yep,
You know, these kids are our kids.
yep.
We take them from infancy to 18 years. And if one of our patients goes over a little bit, it's up to the local board to approve.
And it's also a teaching hospital, is
Yes.
it not? Yeah.
Through Harvard Medical School and Mass General, most of our doctors, like all of our doctors, are shared with Mass General. And it's just a beautiful site.
I guess my question is, you know, when you're in the hospital and you see these kids and you see the burns or the deformities or whatever, how do you do it?
There's a clown named Hightower, Dave Sullivan, and the first time I went to the hospital, he brought me with him. And he told me something that I've done all my life now. Look at the eyes. They may not be able to smile, they may not be able to move, but when you look in their eye, you know they see and they're smiling.
Yeah.
What kind of act? What's your act about as a clown?
As a clown, I mainly do once in a while. I'll do a hospital, mostly circus clowning. We do skits. We actually, this coming weekend, we start on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We have our Clown Institute, where we're going to have almost 200 clowns all converge in a hotel in Plymouth. And we have classes, we have competition, and Saturday afternoon, everybody who is dressed in clown face gets in a group picture. Wow. And it's just a great time.
Tell us about your tie. We were talking about
Yep.
that earlier.
This is one of the hospital ties. Each potentate of the national group has a tie. And they're usually, I don't have a label on this one, they're usually designed by children. And This is my favorite tie, and I like to wear a bow tie. I don't have this in a bow tie yet.
Well, I know
Very clever.
that's got to be one of Gail's favorite ties because she loves when I wear these nice bright ties myself. So, I mean, we fit in together pretty good when it comes to that. Right, Gail?
Oh, yeah. Your shirt even matches his tie.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
See?
I have a very serious question, though.
Okay?
Why can't women become Shriners?
It's because they can't become a Mason. You have to be a Mason to be a Shriner.
And why can't they become a Mason?
Because one of the rules way back when, you have to be a man.
Okay. Do you see?
There are ladies' associations.
I know.
There's the Eastern Star, which
Yeah.
my wife is third generation. I'm a member with her, and both my daughters are members.
The
There's
Rainbow Girls, right?
Rainbow Girls is for the young girls,
Yep.
as Dee Malay is for the boys, which you remember. And there is also Ladies of the Nile, which is the ladies' side of Shrindom. The local name is Opella, which is, and I didn't realize until many years after, Aleppo
Oh,
flipped
okay.
over.
Okay.
And they do a lot of public service work. Unfortunately, they meet during the daytime. Otherwise, my wife would have been there.
Now, in the current scheme of things,
Mm-hmm.
do you see them changing their rules to allow women? No.
Every few years at the national level, there is a motion that's brought up to allow people who are non-Masons. And it's never gone by. Will it?
Well, what is the difference between a Mason and a Shriner? How do you become a Shriner from a
You
Mason?
just ask.
Really? But what is a Shriner compared to a Mason? I mean, why is there a difference?
It's more of a party group. I'll be honest with
Shriners,
you.
right?
I mean,
Yeah.
we have our solemn things,
Yeah.
but
You started out as a social group.
yes, that's how it started back in the late 1800s. And then when they wanted a purpose, in, was it 1922, they said we need a purpose for it. So we have all different types of units. We have the clowns, we have mini ancient Oldsmobiles, fire trucks, mini fire trucks, three-wheelers, go-karts, medical corps, and all these groups get together on a regular basis, and they do different things for the community.
Were you an EMT through the Shriners?
No, I was an EMT back in 1973.
Okay.
Oh, I'm an old timer.
And do you develop individual relationships with the kids when you're there?
No,
No?
no, we try to keep a distance. I mean, I'll walk up to a child that's sitting in the cafeteria when we're having breakfast or lunch and ask the parent if I can give a clown card. And the parent says yes.
We ought to show a picture of you as a clown. We have a couple of pictures. Well, they're going to put it up on the
Okay.
screen for us. Couple of pictures of a clown as a clown. But how long does it take you to get made up as a clown?
Not counting the clothing, between
the
an hour and a half of it. That is my portrait. That is my pride of a picture.
Looks just like you.
Yep. And you
Except
notice
that that's got a little more hair.
that it does. That it does. And my name is Band-Aid the Clown.
Band-Aid. How'd you get that name?
When I did that thing with the clowns, I asked them, there's the face that I did when I took a first place. They didn't like my hair.
No, you didn't have the hair. Right?
I'm sorry, what was it?
The question was, how long does it take you to get
Oh.
made up like that?
About an hour and a half. That's a little bit more because you go at this level all the way to that level. Everything has to be totally encompassed. Wherever there's skin, it's got to be white. Some people just wear hoods. Some people wear gloves that come up to their shoulders. They wear special socks that come up over their knees. And, you know, there's the fun side of clowning, which is parades, circuses, and then like this weekend on the Saturday, at the serious side of it, where there's children, ladies, and men that go to the Northeast Clown Institute, and they do their best to put a face on and to get into costume. And I don't know who the judges are going to be, but there are judges that actually look at each one. Everybody parades in, does circles, they turn around, and there's a point scheme, and they pick the best clowns that they like. And on Sunday morning, we find out who wins.
Now, you have an auditorium up in Wilmington.
Yes.
Is that strictly for shows?
We do all
Right.
different types of shows. We have our own circus. We do host the roller derby, ladies roller derby, which is a fun event.
There you go, Gail. Here's a woman.
I used to roller skate. I like roller skating.
But there's the home show, there's the bridal show that we had a couple weeks ago. We rent the building out and use it to the best we can.
Oh, you do? Okay. Is it like a fundraiser kind of thing?
Yeah, that's what keeps the building going.
Yeah.
I mean, back when membership was, you didn't really have to worry, but memberships,
Yeah.
it's all organizations,
Now, what is your major source of funding,
donations.
donations?
And speaking of donations, since we brought that up, we have a phone number for a couple of different phone numbers. Now, explain
Yes.
the two different
Okay,
donations.
we have one phone number that if a new patient needs to be seen at our hospital, you think they may need it. For burn care, cleft lip and palate, plastic, reconstructive laser surgery, the new patient hotline is 617-722-3000. And there are people that take the phone call and they schedule an appointment. If it's something of emergency, you'll be advised on what to follow and bring your child into our hospital.
Now, is any child acceptable? They don't have to be a Shriner or a Mason.
No, it used to be you had to get in touch with a Shriner and they'd make a referral.
Okay.
That number right there is all you do. Anybody can call that number and get help.
All right, but now for donations, because
yep.
donations are obviously the key.
Yep.
Now, you said people who can't afford it, you pay for. What about people who can afford it? Do they, I mean, after the insurance runs out, do you look at financial records and say, you know,
If they don't say anything, we take care of the child regardless of their ability to pay.
okay, so let's put up the phone number for donations. and
Okay.
Because I'm sure that there's a lot of people that watch television other than the station they're watching right now, and they see the hospital, the Shriners Hospital, and for $19 a month, and it's important, you know, now you see that, you know, you've got kids with these different problems.
Yep.
And if they can't afford it, that you're strictly donations.
Correct.
So,
That phone number is 617-371-4807, and that's for donations of monetary and non-monetary. They take Nintendo games, all the different types of video games, clothing, anything that's non-monetary. We have a special department that just takes care of that. But for that and monetary, besides the phone number, you can contact Shriners Hospitals for Children, all one word, .org/Boston.
and that, when you're writing out a check, you want,
When you write out a check, Shriners Hospitals for Children, Boston. And in the little memo area, write down Boston. And the reason this is, from this local group here, or in the viewing area, we want the money to stay with the Boston Hospital. And by postmarking it for Boston, that's where it stays.
all right, and how does this work, like the monthly thing, you know, like,
I was not able to get that,
okay.
unfortunately.
But I know that there's a system where you can,
That was a national
Yeah.
thing that
and I'm going to write you a check today to start my donation, because I think the work that you do and the work that they do is incredible. And also, you don't realize sometimes how lucky you are that your kids are healthy.
And these donations,
know,
by the way,
That's true.
the donations are tax deductible.
Now, when you take donations from people, but you also have people that want to volunteer to come in and do other
Most of the
things?
volunteers are men. We do
Okay.
have two ladies, wives of the Shriners, and they come in a couple of days a week. But they take care of transportation from the hospital to the airport to the bus stops. They take care of all the mailing. It saves the hospital a lot of money.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
You're probably looking at a half a dozen people that they save.
So when you're talking donations, donations can also mean volunteering in the hospital
Correct.
and doing all kinds of odd jobs,
Yep.
which is important.
Oh, yeah. Now, do you see the hospital in Boston expanding again?
I think we want to be. This is our 50th year. We have a big
Yeah.
celebration coming. And I'll let you know the date because it's going to be an open house with doctors talking about actually what they're physically doing. But we keep fairly well busy. And I don't see it getting any larger right
Yeah,
now.
it's pretty big.
Yeah.
Well, I would assume that a lot of hospitals throughout at least our country are now know how to deal with burns better than they used to.
We have a staff of 2 people. They go around all of New England to different doctors' offices and explaining to them what our services are. And lately, we get a lot of referrals.
Now, you have, what did you say, 22 beds
22
in Boston?
beds. Yes.
Now, what about the children that don't need to be hospitalized? Do they come in on a daycare kind
We
of
do have
thing?
outpatient care. We do have day surgery.
Okay,
And that's something fairly new.
yeah.
How successful are you in repairing people's burns?
Very well. I've heard up into the 90% burn that they can save. As long as there's enough skin to start something. And again, we're one of the largest research hospitals on burn care. And they do a lot of experimental with fish and this and that. And there's a couple of fish that are pretty close to the way we work. And even, believe it or not, fruit flies.
Really? Do they do the research in the hospital itself?
They have 2 floors that are in the hospital, yes.
Okay.
All right, now, let's say there's not enough, a little kid who gets burned and there's not an awful lot of skin left from that kid. Could a parent donate or a sibling donate? Is that
That
possible?
That would be something one of the doctors would have to
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
I had read a while ago that, I don't know how, if they still do it, but they were using pig skin to
I've heard
to
that. I
cover
haven't
the
seen it.
burns
Yeah.
while they heal.
Used to get whatever skin you could. Now there's actually a skin bank, which is part of the organ
Yes.
donation program.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, but just getting involved in it and going into the hospital and seeing the kids, and
But
but you can look at their faces and you can tell.
Yeah. These kids don't think there's anything wrong with them, because there isn't. Their face or their body might be a little different. We actually have staff in the hospital that go to the school systems and explain to them that Johnny or Sally is coming back to school. They're still the same person.
Yeah.
They may look a little different. And then they bring the child to school and answer whatever questions. You can't ask for anything better.
No.
No, that's a great service that you provide.
It is, and I think children have a capacity to accept something perhaps better than adults do at times. Whether it's some disability or whatever.
Now we're taking care of a lot of dermatological type things, skin care.
So it's not just burns. And,
No, Burns,
You know,
cleft lip and palate, plastic surgery.
And you get people from all over the world. That's impressive. That's very
Now, are
impressive.
your doctors, do they come from Mass General?
Yes.
They do?
Yep, they're all Mass General trained.
Okay, because it's right across the street.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have a hallway underground that connects the two
I
buildings.
heard about that.
Oh, yeah. You can get lost down there, though.
So in this weather, you don't have to go outside.
That's right,
right.
yeah. No, that's great.
How often do you get dressed up as a clown in the hospital?
Not often.
No? But are there,
I wish.
are there clowns
We
there?
have 2 clowns once a week on a Saturday that go and play with the kids. The inpatient kids that are allowed to get up out of bed. One child that I played pool with, he only had one arm. And he beat me. That's what they do all day long.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Well, they don't let their
amazing.
disability inhibit them from doing
Exactly.
anything. Yeah.
What is the age group?
newborn to 18.
Newborn to 18?
18 years old.
Now, we're getting short on time.
Okay.
We have just a couple of minutes. So would you like to talk about the phone number to call to donate or
Sure.
for volunteers again?
We can go through that again.
Okay.
Again, for donation of monetary or non-monetary, 617-371-4807. And for patient care services, if you need somebody, you know someone that needs our services, it's 617-722-3000.
Very good.
And I'm writing my check as Gail finishes the show.
Elliot's writing a check. Put the camera on there.
No, I don't want them to see what the account number is.
Well, we want to thank you for coming to our show. What you do is amazing.
Thank you.
And, you know, kudos to you for doing this kind of work.
It's our pleasure.
And I hope that our viewers will think about donating and remember the Shriners. And for people that have children that have severe burns and whatever, you can contact the Shriners because they are doing remarkable work. So thank you again for appearing on the show.
Thank you
and the
both.
best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned next week for another show, different topic, of course. And we appreciate you watching us. Thank you and good night.